Hi, Frederic here. Good morning. You're watching the series of video exercise that we are offering as part of the studio and SML online follow-up. And today I'd like to introduce the very fundamental practice that we take everywhere we go in our life, which is breathing. Breathing is something we do all the time, but it's like many things, like love, like intelligence, like living. We do that since we are born, and we tend to take it for granted. We don't pay attention, and we think we're doing it well. But doing something naturally, doing something by default, doesn't guarantee that we're doing it well. So I'd like to explore that briefly with you today. The first thing I want to share is that we are feeding on life energy. Inside every one of us, there is a place somewhere where life energy, like a source, is emerging, and that's allowing us to move, to be conscious, to make decisions, to go around in the world and to live our life. And that is happening in everything around us, in the plants, in the people. Life energy is everywhere. It pervades everything. It's in the air we breathe, in the food we eat, in the atmosphere of the places where we live. It's in nature. It's everywhere. It's in things, in people. And inside ourselves, life energy, one of the ways life energy is emerging is in our breath. Our breath is therefore probably the simplest and the most direct access to feeling life moving inside us, feeling that energy. Now, as I've shared, most of us don't know how to breathe properly. We've been taught to breathe with our lungs, so we do something like this. But breath is more than that. Breathing with the lungs is good, we do need oxygen, but it's not enough. When you observe the mechanism, the phenomenon of breathing, you see that two things are happening. On one side, yes, we do breathe oxygen through the lungs, nose, throat, lungs, and we fill our lungs and we exhale. But we also do something else that many of us are not aware. We are absorbing energy, and the absorption of energy happens here in the belly, below the navel. And every time we breathe, we are absorbing something, an energy that fills our belly, and then we're releasing it. So the full story of breath is that we are absorbing oxygen here at the top, and we are absorbing energy here at the bottom. So it goes like that, choop, and it meets, you found it in the heart. Okay? So that process starts here. The lung part of breathing is a result of that pulse of life energy that's beating quietly inside our belly, below our navel. So we're going to start here. We're going to do that exercise together. Read the instruction below. It's more detailed, it's better written. But we're going to do that exercise briefly together. And I'd like you to, there'll be another meditation commentary recorded to really go through it properly, all the details. But for now, bring your feeling, bring your attention to that point below the navel, where the original rhythm, your original rhythm is, the breath inside you. And to start the breath from the right place, imagine that, or become aware, that all around you is an ocean of energy. And as I said before, it's everywhere. It's there, it's in the atmosphere, it's in the air, and it's there. It's a mass of energy that our senses do not perceive, but from where everything that's alive is coming from. And that mass of energy is moving. It's a mass of potentialities. And your breath is one wave from that ocean. So here you have the ocean of life energy all around you, moving everywhere. And every time you breathe in, you absorb one wave, and every time you breathe out, you release that wave. Okay? Simple. So let's do that for a few moments. Visualize, imagine, or become aware of that mass, that ocean of life energy that's moving, and every time you breathe, you absorb one wave, and every time you breathe out, you release the wave. Okay? Let's do that. Focus all your attention on that point below the navel. And breathing in, you feel the belly. See how my belly is feeling. And breathing out, you empty. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. So this is the inner movement. Breathing in, you feel your belly, and breathing out, you empty the belly. Breathing in, you absorb the wave, and breathing out, you release the wave. Okay? Let's do it 2-3 times. In, absorb, fill, out, empty, release. And every breath is bringing fresh energy inside your system, like you're feeling yourself literally. And every time you breathe out, you release, you relax, you let go, in, out, out. In, catch the wave, feel the belly, out, empty the belly, release the wave. Okay, this is simple. Next step, there are 2 things we can do with our breath, like with everything else. The first one is to let it live its own life and do its own thing, which means you allow your breath to move naturally. Most of us control our breath. We breathe, like as an act of will, but breath is not something you do with your will. Breath is happening inside yourself involuntarily. And so one way of relating to our breath is to let it move, to let it do its own thing, freely. And just to, not to watch it, but to sense it, to feel it, how breath is moving inside you. When you watch breath moving inside you, you watch life moving inside you. Something very beautiful, very good feeling. So that's the first thing you can do. The second thing you can do is to guide your breath, means to work with your breath and to slowly amplify it, and we'll see later, guide it. So when you do this, then first you start with that faint pulse inside your abdomen. Breathing in, breathing out, life coming in, life coming out, energy in, energy out. And when you've got that movement, and maybe it will take a few minutes, maybe it will take a few months, because we've been really trained to ignore that movement and to breathe with our lungs. And so to come back to the feeling of natural breathing may not be easy for everyone. There's one little tip. If you want to feel that, to touch it, if you have difficulties with connecting with your breath in the belly, then use the moment when you go for a nap in the afternoon or you go to sleep at night, and you're going to notice at the moment when you shift, you drift away, and you fall into sleep, there's that moment where poof, there's a release inside you. You drop the control you have over your own system, and your energy, your breath, start moving freely again. It's a faint little moment, it lasts for half a second, but pay attention to it, because personally that's where I first saw and experienced that movement of energy inside my abdomen. Just at the time where you fall into sleep, you take a nap in the afternoon, or when you engage into a night's rest. So voluntary breathing, how do we move our breath? So we start here, and so you close your eyes, you connect your sensation, your feeling to the feeling of breathing, and you sense that thing moving inside you, and you slowly go with it, and you move with it, and because where you put your attention, you inject another kind of energy, then that is going to start amplifying. And you go with that move, you amplify it consciously, willingly. You feel the belly more, and as you feel the belly more, you're going to see your energy raising in your solar plexus. And the solar plexus is a very important part of our system. That's the nervous center, that's where we take all the first information in our relationship with life, which means we take a lot of shocks and there's a lot of tension in the solar plexus. That's why we have stomach aches, knots in the stomach, etc. Solar plexus is also the area of self-confidence. An open solar plexus means I am facing life confidently. So it's a very, very important center in our system. So as we breathe in, we move with the breath and we slowly amplify it, and we move it, feel the belly, and it's going to start opening the solar plexus, and we release it, and amplify it, and release it, and it opens. It opens here, we're massaging the solar plexus from the inside, we're opening it, we are releasing it, and then we bring the breath into the lungs. So it goes like this, catch the wave, feel the belly, and raise into the solar plexus, and into the lungs, and breathe out. Empty the lungs, through the solar plexus, empty the belly. Is it okay? The beautiful thing is that when we start breathing with energy rather than oxygen, then as you reach your lungs, you're not just filling yourself with the vitality of molecular oxygen, but you are opening your heart. You are opening the feeling of your heart, and it's a feeling of self-confidence, of well-being, of radiance. That's the beauty of breathing with energy first, and you breathe out. Okay? So that's the full breath. We'll come back on that later, because we're going to do a number of things by connecting breath, awareness, and feeling. But for today, I really want you to see that, understand that, and use it in your own life. There's 1,000 wonders included in that exercise. In solar plexus, chest, heart, full open, and now release. Okay? One little thing to follow up on that, we've been taught to take a breath, which means that we focus our attention on breathing in. That's okay, but that's not exactly what you want to do. I will invite you to do the opposite, but to focus your attention on the breathing out, on the exhale, and to push the exhale up to the end of that movement, to that point where you can't breathe out anymore, and automatically the wave is turning back, and the tide is coming back, and the wave is re-entering. When we focus on the exhale, we sense much easier, much more clearly the natural movement of breath, or the full breath. So breathe in and breathe out. Go at the end of the exhale when that wave is turning back and comes back in your system, and feel yourself. Okay? When you do this, you realize something very important. You realize that we do not take a breath, but we receive a breath. And there's a very fundamental difference between those two things, because taking a breath is an act of kind of selfishness. We're grabbing something, as if there was not enough air for everyone else on the planet. But receiving breath means you're receiving life, and it's a gift that's given to you. And there's gratitude involved into that. And gratitude is something very fundamental, not only to our well-being, but to our relationships and to our success in life, in whatever field of expertise of life. So you push the breath out, exhale out, and when it turns back, you receive it with gratitude, and you feel yourself with energy, with confidence, with well-being, and you release. Okay? You can do that slow or fast. If you do it slow, you're calming and stabilizing. If you're doing fast, do it with your mouth. You are energizing, you are making your system dynamic, active, prepare for action, for decisive action powerful exhale. That's for the exercise. Now the last dimension of that exercise, you can use that exercise as a meditation, as an in-depth meditation, where you do the same thing, breathe in, and follow the breath, breath turns, breathe out, follow the breath, turns. But now, every time the breath turns, every time the exhale turns into inhale, hold for a few moments. Exhale, hold. Wait for the next wave to come. Inhale, hold, wait, and wait for the next breath, the next wave to come. When you hold your breath at the end of the exhale and at the end of the inhale, you are accessing two things. The first thing, you're accessing what we call the field. The field is that mass of energy I've described earlier, like an infinite, unlimited ocean, where energy is abundant, it's available, where everything is possible, where every living organism taps into that field of energy to grow itself, to have the vitality to grow itself. So as you hold your breath for a moment, without forcing, very naturally, until it's comfortable. As soon as it's uncomfortable, you turn back and get the next wave. But if you can hold your attention a little bit and your breath into that movement of like a suspension where the exhale is finished and the inhale has not started yet, then at that moment you are sensing or connecting to that field, the field of all potentialities, of all possibilities, the field that unifies and enlivens everything. And same thing here. When you come at the end of the inhale, hold for a moment and stay in suspension for a little while, not knowing if there's going to be another breath. And yes, it comes. The next exhale. And in that moment, you are accessing the silent stillness of awareness. We call that the observer in SML. But as you reach the end of the inhale, and it really goes further than the lungs, it goes here, you hold for a moment, and here you're accessing the stillness of awareness inside you, the observer. Those two ends of the process of breathing are the two gateways. One goes into the field, the other one goes into the observer. The observer, which is also the decision maker inside us, the one who acts. This is for today's exercise. It's something quite complete. You have a lot to work with. I encourage you to practice it, to do it whatever length of time you wish in the morning, to come back to it during the day. It takes 2-3 seconds when you're sitting in a boring meeting to not close your eyes, but bring your awareness back to that area below the navel and sense your breath and everything else that I've described in that exercise. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching, and I'll meet you again soon for the next exercise. I wish you a very good day of practice. I wish you a very happy day and a very happy life. Thank you.